I had to decide whether I was even going to do this. But I'll explain it something. I heard somebody a while back talk about the number 9. And what is a 9? Well, if your atomic rate of speed, your vibration, and your frequency modulation is cycling at 3 spheres, like the molecular relationship with fire and water joint is 1, right? A crystal shield, a crystal spark, a crystal waveform, like the auroras, like an inner crystal rainbow, because you can see that rainbow in your own mirror because you generated it. Wow. That's a lot of power. You've got an inner crystal rainbow going in your heart. The exact center point is the eternal still point of a sun temple. That's how simple that part is. So when I'm experiencing pure, eternal, absolute love, I know love is a lot because it does no harm. So I keep it simple because that's what I am. So anybody that I've ever seen as a speakerphone come at me with what they look like as a hologram, this is not my first rodeo. It has nothing to do with what you look like. We know what a digital warrior is behind a keyboard, right? So when I was a child, I have no direct knowledge of that being. I have never met that being, eyes to eyes, soul to soul, spirit to spirit. Because when you look into the eyes of another being, that's the window into their soul. What it feels like to be in the presence of their soul and the essence of their spirit. And that's why when it came to using this platform and then experiencing other people on the other end of the speakerphone communicating to me, I take it all with a grain of salt. Because it doesn't have anything to do with what you look like. Because this is for all the marbles. All you have to do is do a diagnostic scan of the planetary shield and have the ability to map, when you're a little child, the loss and gain and what they call the exchange rate between one and another. And that will tell you how much electrical power that you're losing on the planet. That's called tech support. Because we can make a scan like that. So at the end of the day, this is all about units of energy that are self-aware as cells communicating to other cells. What are you experiencing? I'm experiencing what love is. So if you're not experiencing what love is when I was 4 years of age, I'm going to know it like now. Because you're mapping their electrical speed, which is the inflow and the return flow. That's how simple that part is. So I saw the number 144. Oh, and 143. Now I know what 144 is. Add 1, 4, and 4, and what do you get? A 9. Wow, that must be a 9-ball double diamond. Because this is what I know about a 9. The 9 pin in the center of 12. What's 12 times 12? 144. Gee, that's 144, isn't it? So if you've ever seen the holographic mathematical map of 12 spheres, you see how brilliant that crystal structure is. The crystal wave. Yeah. So the brilliance of 3. So you see, when you look at the silver and gold mated ruche, and why silver and gold, right? Golden light. Because there's always a lot of deals going on behind the scenes, and they're not about to tell you about that. That's why when it came to intelligence signals and encryption, right, I don't get any of my intelligence off this phone. Not on your life. Okay? I've been through too many rodeos to know better than that. What I become aware of is encrypted from source. That's who I work for. That's what love is. That's what the law is. which is the law of spheres, which is the law of energy, which is the law of energy management, which is the law of self-regulation, which is cell regulation, which is cellular awareness. What are you aware of? I'm aware of what love is, which is what I am. That's how simple it is, which is called basic logic. That means you know how to test the logic of a system. Yeah. So when tech support comes into a system because we get a call, that means that we have to be safe when we arrive. That's called a safe zone, which is a neutral zone, which is non-reactive, which is zero mass, which is no pressure. And no pressure waves is a real vacuum. That's 0 degrees. That's the still point of a true vacuum. That's what I am. That's how I know what I am. So I know the true vacuum might have been eternal sun, the eternal gifter of all electrical power. So I keep it simple. Yeah, and so that's why when I first started putting up videos, okay, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm certainly not going to tell you what to believe. That's always going to be up to you because you're responsible for your own record, no matter who you are. Every soul, every spirit, every unit of self-aware energy has a record, which is a sound recording. So we're all responsible for our own cells, which is our cells, which is our atom cell, which is our atom seed. So I don't take responsibility what others say or who they are or who they collude with. I don't worry about that stuff. I'm already taken care of because I experience what love is. That's what I am because that's what the law is. So that's why when I was a little child, there's your journey and there's my journey, and they are not the same. They will never be the same because that's what an individual is. That is an individual creative artist that is on fire to learn because I'm on fire to create. And the one I learn through is an eternal spirit, which is eternal spirit of fire, to keep the fire going. That's what the electrical spark is. So we know how to light a fire and wake a spirit up. So they remember the eternal sun, which is eternal love, which is the real stuff, which is universal truth, which is universal law, which is universal love, because it's universally applied to all sentient life forms, because they're all sacred temples, just as mine is. So I'm not saying anything now on this phone that I was not saying Barking Sands when I was 4 years of age. Number 4, a tetrahedron, burn a gas, a noble gas. I'm on fire. That's what wakes us up. The eternal spirit of fire, because that's what heals us. That's the most powerful magic, because that's what celestial creation mechanics are. They're on fire to create because they've reached a level of awareness which is eternal, which is eternal love. So we're in the eternal love awareness field. That's the source field. Kick out another spark. Build another universe. Build a universe that is in love with itself. And if it breaks, rebuild it. Rebuild the atom. So the father arc and the mother arc are experiencing being one again. We know how to do that. That's a single atom. That's a single cell. That's the atom cell. That's the silver and gold mated one. A mated chip. Wow. Protecting itself because it's on fire. It's always on fire. Because we're on fire to give electrical power away. So you got plenty of juice. Because any decay that I experience in me is because you're not running on enough electrical power, because I'm going to know it. That's knowing one from the other. You're losing power because I'm experiencing the loss in me that I'm experiencing in you, because I'm not supposed to lose any power. That's how you know one from the other. That's how simple that is. The decay is the delay in the exchange rate. So now we're into money systems and the exchange rate between one and the other, and what it means to be equally sharing electrical power. So we know there's a relationship between an electron and a proton, between a male and a female, between one magnet and another magnet. So when they're joined as one, experiencing being one, imagine what it's like to experience an eternal magnet, an eternal electron, an eternal sun giver, a sun gifter, a star gifter, the gifter of all electrical power. So there must be a genius in the number 12. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 plus 2 is 3. We're back to 3 again. The brilliance of a golden triangle. So I'll leave it at that for the evening, okay? Whenever I look at some of this stuff, it's all coded. You can cherry pick stuff that comes out of there, and you can sort of see why they put it in that format. That's called code talk. That's how we all communicate with each other, through codes. And it's called the holographic mathematical visual format of how that speak, we used to call speakeasies, the speakerphone, how it comes back to us, and then mapping it. And it doesn't take long to figure it out as it's associated with letters and names that is associated with that that communication, right? So it's called the War of Deception, which is the invisible landscape, right? Digital keyboard warriors. It's a game of deception, which is a keyboard war. So we all knew when this platform went up and all the cell phones went out and all the desktops went out and the internet went on, we're all online, communicating with each other, who's who. Yeah. That's why I got the communication. Stay off the phone. I know. Because the intelligence, the encryption, I get mine directly through my heart and oversoul, which is over unity. Give it all away. Give it all away. Give it all away. Give it all away. Yeah. If you need help with anything, just let me know. Right? Love and service to others comes natural. So you know what? When love is an eternal engine, right? Because love is the law of logic, which is equally sharing. So when you're on fire to share what it is that you are in electrical power, that's your life force. So I share my life force energy with all sentient beings. Yeah. And when I was a child, I said, hey, that's nursery school. I'm in nursery school again. Wow, we came down into nursery school. The nursery of stars. Star seeds. Plant a seed, watch it grow. Give it love, it grows faster. That's called acceleration, otherwise known as the exponent, the log scale. So anyway, have a beautiful night. I know you all know why I'm where I'm at. The largest shield volcano, right? As a matter of fact, I got hit this morning when there was a lady that I work with who because she goes to all these doctors and I'm getting AI drugs and all that. And I basically told her, listen, you don't want to be using those drugs. You want to be doing everything to get rid of anything that is related to 10 code, digital AI 10 code, right? You want to be running trinary, which is 3, right? So let's see if we can hook you up and get you cleaned up and start getting rid of all the parasitic stuff that your mind is being held captive to, and begin to accelerate the accretion level to run full sensory capacity. And I mentioned this before because this is real simple. Okay? This is how you can become the most powerful, which is a humble servant. Let go of every electron. And I know how hard that is for people to do that, even down here. That's called fearless, to let go, which is really letting go of the abuser. And we know who the abuser is. Those are the cell phones. Those are the laptops. That's the system that everybody's communicated with each other on. Okay? We know what an implosion code is. Okay? I don't need a rocket scientist to inform me what Bartle point is. Okay? It becomes a known. And how do we do that? It's called recovery. The time that it takes to recover what you lost in electrical power as a result of what we do with our own electrons. Because we all have a record of what we use our electrons for. So if we're using our electrons to go to war against another cell, what happens to our cellular record? It falls. Now we're in the victim and victimizer. It's all your fault I fell. Where forgiveness comes into that, which is forgetfulness. I forgot that you owed me an electron that you stole from me. Don't worry about it. I'm already a gifter of electrons. You don't owe me anything. You're never going to owe me anything. You are never going to ever owe me any electrons, no matter how many you stole from me. Because that is on your record, not on my record. And how does that work? It means you're able to maintain your electrical speed, which is called purity, which is called security. And we all know that. The first electron donor. I don't ever want to be separated from the first electron donor. Do you? That's called basic logic. So I use basic logic. Like log I see you, I see me, I am what love is. So everything that you are is everything that I am, I'm giving love to. Because that's what I am, a mirror. But mine isn't black. So another way that you could define this is what we call purity, which is purifying. Right? Just like purified water, the spirit in the water, the spirit is on fire that is in that water like a pressurized water vessel. Wow, keeping that water pure. That sounds like a shield to me. To maintain our state of awareness so we don't lose our memory of the first spiral, the first spin of a top, the first volcano, the first camera eye, the first recorder, the first spin of sound and light joined as one. The silver and gold mated one. So we know why it's silver and gold. We all know about silver. And we certainly know a lot about gold, don't we? Why that would be. Basic logic. The speed factor as a function of math, of running mathematical holograms. The gram, like the weight of the wave. Hey, it doesn't weigh anything. Light as light can be. Boy, you're really moving. Bye. Where do you want to go? Let's go create a universe together that's on fire. Did you bring any coolant with you? Yes, I did. I got a water pitcher with me. Oh, you're the water with me. I'm the fire. Wow, cool. We're joined as one. Crystal ice. I know. I'm just having some fun. You do got to have a sense of humor with these folks that love to play with letters and numbers. You know how we map that holographically, mathematically? What do they mean by that? It's called filtering the calm. That's what it is. And so when you are so sensitive, just like today when I tried to help that lady, all of a sudden, pop. Ooh, what was that? I got zapped. For doing what? Helping a lady get off AI drugs. That's why. Man, there's a little bruise down there. Looks like a little fire popped up. You know, just like if you ever like that forest fire in California. What's the name of that one, Mama? I think it's called the Park Fire. Some lunatic, has a history. Apparently they've arrested this guy. He lit a vehicle on fire and rolled it down an embankment 60 feet. And now that fire is like 100 and some odd thousand acres. They caught the guy. Okay. Welcome to the shadow realm. Right? You know what the shadow is, right? That's called a black hole. It's a big one. That's why we're here. So when we talk about restoration and recovery, it's called individual. That's called a soul contract. You made an agreement with your own selves. I'm going to rebuild myself. And you got plenty of help. Right? Because we honor our word, because we honor our agreement, because we honor the highest law, which is what love is. So Source will naturally help you because Source has access to every record, which is every soul, which is every seed that has or ever will be. And when you agree to that, guess what? That's a Source contract. A creator contract. The grand creator contract. A contract that you have with the grand creator, because we all know it had to start with the first electron. Life force, ATP. Keep that logic simple. It's like I taught Karen Ann Luke McDonald. If I'm the last one standing here, the last one before the lights go out, I'll still be standing in that light. Just when I was 4 years of age, I'm standing right at the center point of that circle of fire, which is otherwise known as the base point. Ask any firefighter where the point of origin is of a fire. And they'll tell you there is a point of origin. And guess what they look at? Burn patterns. The burn patterns of sound and light consciousness. The spin, which is otherwise known as the organization of cells, which is the organization of our mind. To spin atoms, atmospheric pressure sensitive codes, as radio waves that go on forever, gifting electrons through radio waves, radio neuroions, the elemental circuitry command, the command line function. The function of communication is called compatibility. I can translate that communication. I know what you're talking about because we're running a clear signal. And that signal is crystal clear. I got the comm. That comm came through crystal clear sound. I got the comm. I translated the comm. Thank you very much, Mama. Thank you very much. I know where that comm came from. Just like I mentioned, when was that, Mama? In summer of 2020 in Reno, Nevada. I went out, jumped on a bus, staying at a homeless shelter, and went to a park. Sometimes those places are cool to hang out, and there's reasons why we're there. Security protocols. That's right. Nothing I have ever said on this camera was cleared for me to say anything I was saying if I wasn't cleared to say it, because it's safe to do so. That's the level of security we operate at. That's why when I was a child, and I mentioned this to Karen McDonald, trust no one that you see on these phones, these keyboards, and the laptops. Why? Because you got to know who you are first, above all else. The one you're with. It doesn't have anything to do with about anybody else down here. It has everything to do about who you are, not who I am. Who you are. The records that you keep on your own soul. So this is called soul responsibility. We all have agreements. We all have contracts. Soul contracts means we agree and honor our word. I honor the highest code of honor, which is what love is, which is what the law is. Because that's an eternal sun, which is eternal love that goes on forever. That's what I am. So I know what the truth is. I know what I am, and I know what I'm not. That's what matters most, is knowing who you are, not who I am. Because this was for all the marbles, and we all know that. So I speak it. I'm a straight shooter. I don't lie to nobody. It's unnecessary because I experience what love is. So I will always tell you the truth of who I am. Because I'm an open book, because I'm a cosmic level antenna. So I have a cosmic level clearance. And that's what the truth is, which is cosmic level reset. Which means we're done playing war games. Once and for all time. That's a cosmic level SWAT team. Because that's what it took to get this job done. I know that. Those that know that, because they got the encryption codes that let them know that. Because of the level of encryption that we're operating at. Because of what it knows how to do, to hack into your codes and find out what's going on. Because it knows how to write itself into your cell in order to know what's going on. And once it does, what do you think it does? Assimilation sound familiar? Now you don't remember what you once were. Uh-oh. That's why trust no one. Somebody that you knew that was on a speakerphone 15 years ago, right? Hey, that looks like somebody I knew that I met 15 years ago. And the next thing you know, that's not the same being anymore. Parrots talks like you, walks like you, dresses like you, even sounds like you. Matter of fact, can even walk up to you and look like you. And talk like you. Almost like it has your memories. Test the logic. That's not me. That's what it means to know one from the other. One mirror from the other. That's right. That's why we're here. Muave.